Well, happy Friday night, everybody. Welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I am sorry about that. I had not the right kind of link for you ready just now. So, in a big hurry, as usual, I think I just reposted it there in the Facebook group. So, let's give everybody a minute to find it and get on there. I'm sorry about that. I thought I had done that in it and I didn't have the right format. So, I am so sorry about that. We will give everybody a second to log on. Lar, great to see you. Welcome back. Hello in Las Vegas and happy Friday night. We're running a little bit crazy here. We're also trying to figure out why the printer isn't working. Brand new printer. And yeah, I need to get that sheet out because tonight, of course, is success. It's probably going to print 10 copies now, right? Because I hit it 10 times. Thank you. That was fun. That was fun trying to figure that out. There we go. We've got the copy. I would cancel. You know what? Hold on one second. I'm with you. I'm not leaving you, but let me just cancel all of these other printings because crazy times. Yeah, something was wrong. Usually it's the toner or the something or the something or the something. But at least for me, I can honestly say I never hit Control P and have it just print. It always does a pop-up message, like the old paper clip from the Word thing. How can we mess something up for you now? It's always pop-up window. How can we help? Do you want to buy some toner? Whatever. Doesn't matter, but we have, I think, all of the pages to, yes, what will be a beautiful gallery night tonight because you all sent in some gorgeous work, and we will enjoy looking at it together immensely on this Friday. Kirsten, thank you for the heads up. Kirsten, let me know. Link problem, send something. So I was doing that. Thank you so much for letting me know. And Linda B. in Chile, Vermont. Kirsten is in Chile, Vermont. We're trying to make plans to get together. Even though it's chilly there, I feel like once the snow is gone, I feel like I can make it up there for a visit. I feel like that is possible because, Kirsten, you're driving around in your car, right? So people are driving around in their car in places where it's 0 degrees and less. So it's possible. It gives me the impression that you don't immediately die when you walk out the door. My husband's making a fire for us there. I'm in the living room tonight, which you can probably tell there's something different going on because maybe it's just with the snow coming, with the panic about the printer, with us getting in so late. We went to get pizza and it took a full hour to get the second pizza, which was Jossie's that we were taking home, a full hour. So it's been a bit of a panic lead up to this. But I feel like a nice fire in the fireplace is going to do us good. We might even be able to capture it on the video. That's cozy, isn't it? Linda B., great to see you. Staying warm inside, ready to enjoy everybody's creativity. You know what? I think this is the weekend for creativity. I think all over the country, right? In Canada, I'm not sure what you're getting in Canada. I hope that it's not crazy, but the forecast in the U.S. is absolutely bonkers right across the country from what I can see. I don't know if anybody's escaping from this historic storm, but thanks, Ariane. California is escaping from the storm? Well, then why aren't we headed out that way? I was trying to escape. We're getting hit hard here in Connecticut, and I'm sure there are places where you're getting hit harder than us. But I did happen to notice. Over there. Oh, geez, that looks good, doesn't it? Maybe I'll do like this, and then we'll have a little fire too. Gail, you're not getting the snow. Gail just logged on from Australia. You're escaping the snowstorm for sure. Good morning, Gail. I'll catch up with all my good mornings and my good evenings, and I'll leave the fire over there. That looks really cozy. But I didn't want to be in the basement tonight because even though it's not cold down there, it just mentally is cold down there. I just feel like there's snow all over the ground. We're about to get hit with more snow. I need more of this in my life than that in my life, if you know what I mean. So, Rita, great to see you. Howdy and happy Friday night. Mom, great to see you again. We were together at our thing at the church today, visiting with our buddies. And okay, that's something. It's like, where's that shine coming? What is happening with that shine? It's over here. I hope it's not blinding you. So we saw each other already today. Super fun. Snow on the way. Sharon, great to see you in Eagle Bridge. Is it going to be crazy snow up there in New York? Yikes. Myra, great to see you in Virginia. I think it's coming right up our way, right? Everyone's getting it. Leah, how is it going in Newfoundland? It is frickin' freezing. -3. Is that, here comes a stupid question. Is it the same -3 as our -3? Or is it like -3 plus like 26 or 27 kind of thing? I'm wondering. I mean, it has potential to be very dang cold in Canada right now because it is so dang cold over here. Leah, I love the quilt that you posted. Your mom's quilt was such a pretty quilt. It was that magic kind of a quilt that I always look for. I have a couple that I found in shops that are like contemporary quilts, but they made their way to an antique center or something. I love the kind of quilts where you look at them and it's like it's a pattern, like it's a pieced quilt, but there's like in some blocks unexpected colors or unexpected patterns, but not throughout and not regularly. So it's almost like I noticed that your mom put in some pattern pieces in some places and just unexpected color. It wasn't like a super like uniform looking quilt. It wasn't like super matchy matchy. It had some unexpected colors in there. It was so super magical. Let's see. Diane, great to see you feeling like an ice cube in Illinois. We're all having it, right? Maybe this helps a little bit. I mean, I know it doesn't, but maybe it helps mentally a little bit. Jessica, great to see you. You're watching in Ohio. You're hooking and watching and waiting for your daughter to finish musical practice. Is that Evie? Is it Evie who's going to be in The Lion King? Gail, I already noted it's 110 there. We are having opposite weather, of course. Different tops of the world, the top and the bottom, right? You are getting summer right now, and I'm feeling jealous. Phone wrecking, typing. Oh, Florida is escaping ice. Yeah, I did notice that in the middle of the eastern seaboard, some of the states, I think Virginia is one of them, at least that was my memory, are getting the heavy snow ice as opposed here we're supposed to get, and I'm hoping it's true, we're supposed to get that light fluffy snow. So they give us a high, like, a foot and a half, 2 feet of snow, but it's fluffy. So it's almost like a fluffy sweater. Like you pack it in your suitcase and it takes up more space than the really thin ones. But so it is more, it's easier to deal with the fluffy stuff than the damp stuff. So I will be watching and looking for all of my buddies all over the place because I know with that heavy wet snow, you get wires and trees and stuff like that getting into the mix, and that's the scary part that we don't want to think about. We'll hope for the best, right? It is gallery night, Catherine. Great to see you in Southern California. You could do with some cold stuff. Yeah, you are the total opposite extreme. It is funny to think about, though. Catherine, good to see you. Happy Friday. Look at all those snowflakes. I know it, right? Yes, Evie is going to be an African bird in The Lion King. Oh, my word. Give her a huge hug for me and tell her good luck. She is so talented. She is such a special, unique, and talented person. She is going to crush it or smash it or whatever it is that they say these days that is very good. And Kanga, great to see you. 0 degrees. Well, at least it's a nice even number, right? The 0 degrees. -14 wind chill in western Pennsylvania. That's cold. Had to wrap the chicken coop with tarps. Okay. And added extra bedding for my feathered girls. Oh, those sweeties. Oh, those little ones keep warm, friends. That's right. I was just thinking about that because one of my buddies on Facebook, Judy Mom, she's one of my mom's friends for years, Judy, and I don't know why we started calling her that, but she's Judy. So she posted something with a possum, right, with a little possum, and he was in a garage, and it said something so cute that broke my heart, like hi. I came into your garage because I'm going to freeze to death, and I'm not dangerous, but I'm hissing because I'm so scared. And I came in here, I snuck in because it's so cold out that I'm scared I'm gonna die. And if you just leave your garage cracked, I will leave. You don't have to call pest control because I'm not a pest. And I eat hundreds of ticks every year, and that is a very helpful thing here where we have so much Lyme disease. So it got me thinking about that because we have 3 sheds in our yard. And I said to my husband, do you think we could leave like one of them? We thought it would be the playhouse for the kids. They can't be bothered to go outside and play in it. It's this cute little room with a little skylight and everything, little porch. It's not big enough to be a she shed or a bee barn. for me, but it's big enough for the kids to play. That's a no thanks. And it's also a good size to leave open if like an animal comes through, or we have a little fox that comes through. He might want to be in there. So I might, he said they're probably okay because there's so many places on this property to hide that they'd be warm. I think I'm going to I'm going to ignore that remark and prop the door open with one of my wheats. And I know you're not supposed to put a blanket in there because they can freeze in the blanket and like not get out, and that's dangerous. But I was wondering if I could like put some paper boxes, like cardboard boxes or stuff in there. I don't know, something that they won't freeze to death in or get ensnared in. But yeah, it's going to be cold here, so it's going to be cold. We're getting here in Connecticut. We're getting maybe a foot to 2 feet of snow over the course of 2 days. And my main problem, and right, the first world problems, right? But my main worry and problem, two things. The kids are home from school and they love to be on the computer and talking to their friends. If we lose power, that's going to be hard. And we're also on well water here on the side of a mountain. So you can't flush the toilet when we don't have whatever water. So yes, I am going to fill. We don't have a bathtub in this house. We only have one bathroom so far. We haven't put the second one in yet. And so I'm going to fill a bunch of tubs and stuff with water just in case. And we don't expect to run out of power here because people have said in this neighborhood that they haven't lost power for years. And the power station is the wrong word, but the generator thing is literally at the end of our street near the reservoir. So there's not a lot, I guess. Kirsten educated me about this between here and there that could go wrong tree-wise. So I feel like we're going to be okay. But nonetheless, I got this amazing thought in my heart yesterday, and I Googled because I started pre-worrying about this with the kids, and just the crazy factor, the aggravation factor of the two children, and I know I know probably all of you are thinking, well, like what's the problem with not having being plugged in for one weekend? Like have we gone so far down the old crapper, like culturally, that we can't be without power for a day or two? And my answer is yes, we have gone that far down the crapper, because I'll tell you, I don't think I can make it through the days. I'm working on 2 books at the same time and Magpie if I can't be on my computer getting work done. And then it gets dark so early that I wouldn't, what am I going to hook by candlelight? Kirsten actually said, you should hook by candlelight, like old-timey hooking. Like and Kirsten, you were quite right? Because this is like normal talk and this is crazy, interior talk. And Kirsten said, well, think about all of the early hookers, right? Our like predecessors, our sisters from 100, 150 years ago who were hooking black yarn or wool, in candlelight at night. And I think, yes, you're so right. But I still don't want to do it. I definitely don't want to do it. So I'm hoping that it's easy here. I'm hoping that it's easy where you are. I'm hoping you don't lose power. I'm hoping you can do your crafts, have a happy time, not a stressful time, not a scary time. I'm hoping that for all of us, particularly in parts of the country where that are not accustomed to this kind of a historic storm. So we'll see what happens, and let's stay in touch. And remember, if you're in an area that is going to get blasted, God forbid, that's real wood. Make sure that you post on Facebook, like if anything goes down that's exceptionally bad, that like, I'm okay here. Just let us know you're okay. Rita. Leah, you said you'll let your mom know. You had some lovely comments. She's so humble and won't post anything for herself. It's not too cold at the moment, but it's around -10 Fahrenheit. See, to me, that's cold. You're stronger people than we are here. That is like terribly cold. It is so windy here, and it's like in the 20s, and we just went to get that pizza. And I had my winter coat on and a sweater, and I thought I was going to die that one block. Thought I was going to end up crawling to the car, dragging myself by my fingernails to the car, in this last like death reach for like, the car door. So yeah, I'm amazed. I'm amazed at how cold it is, and people still function. It is an inspiration, seriously. And Rita says it's going down to -10, real numbers. Yeah. Don't think I've ever experienced this. No, I know it. Tamarack, NWT. Hello. It's Lonnie. Hello from the Northwest Territory. Northwest, it's cold there too. -29 Celsius. with a wind chill of -38. Stay inside. Seriously, do not go outside. Do not go outside for anything. Diane, turn your playhouse into an outdoor outhouse. I never thought of that. I never thought of that. It could be like, a Henry VIII style throne in there. We could have more actual throne. We could have more than one hole, right? Like colonial outhouses where you just all sit and chat while you're doing your job, as my grandmother would say. That is a funny idea. At least it's an option, right? We might need an option. Sharon said, if you lose power in the winter with these temperatures, it gets cold fast. We do have a generator there. Okay, we were we were thinking of getting one, but then we thought, well, let's wait and see if we lose power. Maybe that's not the way. Kanka says, years ago, first year with a well, no electric, no flushing, panic. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So this was the idea that I got in I would say my head, but it was a heart idea. I thought, you know what? I'm going to take my phone and I'm going to look up where in New England is the least amount of snow happening this weekend. So I Googled it, and you'll never guess what the answer was. This was yesterday, because it's not the same now. The answer was Cape Cod, my favorite place in the world, Jessica. And I thought, oh my God, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the kids. I'm going to leave my husband, right? Because he's fine here. He can deal with the pipes not freezing and the pets, make sure everything's okay. And he is convinced that we're not going to lose power, right? So we can put that to the test. But he was happy to stay, and he was not inclined to come. And I thought, I'm going to take the kids and I'm going to drive to the Cape. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to visit Pat at the White Cat because I want to buy some of her plaids, like that little rug hooking store I always visit and do videos in. Was there with Jessica last time and Naomi. And I'm going to go to the Cahoon Museum of Art and see what kind of new exhibit they've got up. I'm going to take the kids to Sandwich Pizza. We'll probably go to the mall and eat at the food court. We're big food court pigs. Not so much with my diet right now, but I could find something, right? And so I thought, let's do it. Everything on Cape Cod, like the hotels are like $90 a night right now. I was like, let's do it. It's insurance that we can plug in, use our phones, use computers, have electricity, flush the toilet. I can do a little bit of rug shop magic and a little bit of cruising around because I'm always longing for the Cape. And then I checked the forecast today, and their forecast had changed also to 5 to 8 inches of snow, wintry mix. So that's just, at that point, it's a little bit too scary because it's like, is it 5 or is it 8? And will it be the wintry mix while I'm trying to drive home, right? Like 3.5 hours away. So I was a bit heartbroken about that because, once you get a great idea and it involves a rug hooking store, it's hard to let it go. It's still hard to let it go. I'm going to check the forecast again tomorrow on the off chance that changed because I will be in that car. I will be in that car so fast that I will just bring my deodorant, my toothbrush, move the kids in there, and we're just gone, right? That's how quick I would make that decision. Oh, man. Toilet set flush. Kaz, great to see you. Good evening from very, very cold Wisconsin. No problem. I was late getting on because I didn't have the right link ready. I'm so sorry about that. Kaz, I was just saying with the storm coming in for everybody this week, everybody except Gail in Australia, where it's like 102 degrees or 104 degrees. I'm hoping that everybody does well this weekend. Stay in touch. And yeah, I'm sure that it's going to all be just fine. But it is scary when they're blowing up a storm like this. And yeah, lots of jokes on Facebook too, like at least around here, like, okay, so we're getting anywhere between like 0 and 300 inches of snow. And it might be snow, it might be rain, it might be sleet, it might be a wintry mix. Like it's hard to pin down the forecast, isn't it? It's that kind of crazy. Hang in there, Wisconsin. Climb under your piles of wool noodles. -11 so far. That's really good advice. We all have plenty of wool, right? Well, speaking of wool, I got some beautiful pieces to show for gallery night tonight. And of course, if you're joining us new, gallery night is, we try to do gallery night once a month. And we are looking at pieces that you all are working on, that you finished, that you did before, that you're about to start, maybe things that you did this month or places you went, rug shows that you're seeing. By the way, I just got a notice from the Quabbin Guild. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. From Devin at the Quabbin Guild. The Quabbin Guild is in southern Massachusetts, so right above Connecticut. And she said, oh, she writes me on my other email. She said, she alerted me. Okay, let me just, I think took a screenshot. She alerted me to a show that's happening in Vermont. And let's see. I wish I knew before I got the message today at about 4 o'clock, and I wished. Hold on, I have to pull it up differently. I wish that I had known earlier because the party for the opening was today. So we had our show in place already, but if I had known in advance, I would have wanted to go to the opening show. But instead, I'm going to, let me just put her in and see if I can find her. Instead, I'm going to ask Beth McDermott. Does anybody know Beth McDermott? Um, an exhibit of Vermont artist Beth McDermott's rugs should be fun, a bit of good cheer in this midwinter season once we get past the upcoming snow. So she wrote, I had to look up the location, but Marlborough, Vermont is just west of Brattleboro. So that's quite south. So maybe, okay, yeah, just giving me an idea of where it is. So, oh, sorry, I put my phone on no internet. So Marlborough, Vermont, the opening is tonight, right now, or it was an hour ago, and it goes through my birthday, February 28th. So just so you know it's there, if anyone is in the area and you're thinking, I'm going to go, I want to go too. So let me know if anybody's going to go. I'd like, I'm going to stay on top of Kirsten to see if Kirsten might go or if I can combine a visit at the same time. But the rugs were beautiful. And this is the one that is shown. And I know Chris McDermott, but I don't know Beth. Let me see if I can show this to you with success. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, there we go. So that's the rug that's like the header for this. Whoa, right? Love stays, hours fly. There's more text to it. It's hard to read it backwards right now. But isn't that absolutely beautiful? What a charming rug that's like and the little clock in the middle. That's like a combo of a folky rug. It's very whimsical. It's got some traditional flair to it. Really whimsical, isn't it? I thought that was so pretty. I can't wait to see the other rugs. Beth has been hooking rugs since 2003. She draws on the history of textiles. New England craftspeople have made rugs. We know this part. Warmth, cut up clothes. Story rugs make up a part of her work, and these are reflective of the past as well. Her love of color is evident in all of her work. The art show will open. It's already open, as I said, and it will run through February 28th. Yeah. So, and this happens at the Marlborough Community Center. So if you are anywhere near, it is a gorgeous rug, isn't it? It was so different. Melanie, great to see you. Happy Friday night. Sorry about the late link. Everybody's coming on with the late link. There we go. Kind of stalling and giving a little bit of time. I can see the numbers popping up there and people finding us after that link was posted. Well done. Thank you, everybody. So that's coming up for you too, if that's something you're interested in. I will try to get in touch with Beth so I can go over there and maybe talk to her and look at her rugs with her. That would be fantastic. Let's see if we can make that happen. So some beautiful rugs came in this week. And if you are, again, if you're new to us and you're thinking, oh, I would like to send something in for gallery night, you can send in any time through the month, right? You can always send in to ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com, and I will just get the slideshow ready for the next gallery night. So Kaz, I put yours in first. I got yours first. Let's come over here for some fun. And Kaz wrote and said, is it okay if I send stuff with a Christmas theme? And you know what? It's always okay to send anything, right? What a gorgeous piece. So Kaz writes, hi, Deanna. I hope it's warming up a little over there. You know, it was warm this week. Here are my rug photos for the gallery night. And this is a design by our mutual buddy, Haley Perry, and she is Loop by Loop Studio in Warren, Rhode Island. This is Small Festive Ornaments. What a gorgeous piece. I'm going to stretch this in just a second, and I think you know why. I want to talk about the materials. This is just such a charming composition. This is really sort of a signature kind of piece that Haley does that is a whimsical kind of composite. This is a multiples composition where we're seeing 3 ornaments, but done in such a whimsical way, right? She's just showing you kinds of strings or lights that these ornaments are suspended from. And we're able to see 3 very different ones at once, different shapes, different colors. It makes it so interesting. And the background looks like antique black. You chose some beautiful colors here. And you wrote, Kaz wrote, I hooked this piece using wool strips, yarn, and velvet that I bought from Diane Tobias. This was a Christmas present for my dog's chiropractor. Oh, this is such a nice gift. This is so perfect, isn't it? And I bet it's a really nice size too. Now, it's a gorgeous piece, but I want to blow it up a little bit because, yes, let's look at the velvet. Velvet does, I'm seeing, oh, you did most of it with yarn. Okay, and wool strips. I'm seeing all of that. And then you had this nice blue velvet from Diane. Kaz, when you use velvet, do you cut it with a rotary cutter or scissors or something else? You should not cut synthetic velvet if you have like a bliss cutter or something with blades, Sizzix, anything like that, because any kind of synthetic is not good for metal blades. It'll dull the blades for sure. And yes, it'll dull the scissors, and yes, it'll dull the rotary cutter. You know, but those things don't cost $500 and $75 for every subsequent head. You know, it is remarkable how expensive rotary cutter blades are. I mean, am I right about this? Does it also make you angry? Because I'm thinking, I could get a pizza cutter for a fraction of this, and a pizza is a hell of a lot harder to cut through than a piece of velvet or cotton, right? But it is what it is. I love to see the velvet in this piece. It really adds festivity and just this lush sense of fun, a variety, right? It really draws your eye, and it also hooks so differently than yarn or wool. If you look at the border, you know, if you're ever thinking, I finished it, I'm right up to the border, oh, but you have the cutest dog in the world, so that's okay. I'm seeing some sweet dog hairs that are precious. I'm seeing some strands of gold, of the sweet gold. It looks perfect, Kaz. It looks completely perfect. But if you're ever thinking, what can I do with my piece now I finished it? What can I do to the border, right? Because maybe you feel like I don't have any more border in me. I don't want to do whipping or something like that. Oh, you cut it with scissors. Yep. I think that's a good call. I cut with scissors too. Once in a while I cut with a rotary cutter, and when I do with the velvet, I put the velvet pieces right sides together. So the pile to the pile, right? The nap to the nap. And because it's velvet, it kind of mushes into itself, right? Face to face. And then I cut it that way. But I still have to shake it like crazy, and I use my little hand vacuum, my little car vacuum on it, because it does drive me crazy, the lint in the air, right? So be ready for that with the velvet. But velvet doesn't look like anything else, and it's so nice to be able to use it because it does add such dimension. And doing one little border of velvet like this, it really looks so finished, doesn't it? And if you're just going to take the sides and sew them under, then your border is going to look very full and very finished, and it's going to hide the part that you sew under. So if it's not perfect, if it's not perfectly turned and sewn down, the velvet's going to hide that. And Kaz just hit the nail on the head saying, I love the velvet border because it blooms. That's the perfect way to describe it. It does. It makes one little blossom or one little balloon out of every loop. And it hides so much, right? So if you're hooking a whole piece with velvet, and I often do that, one of the pieces in the rose book is all velvet. I think at least one, if not two. I love it for the same reason. It kind of folds into itself, and it really is lovely. Diane says, get Fiskars or Clover rotary blade sharpener sander. Been using same rotary blade for 2 years. Are you serious? Love the velvet border. I did not know that. You know, I never thought of doing that. That is a great tip. Thank you so much. I am going to get the sharpener. I'm going to get it. That's a great solution. I love that because I get like so kind of forlorn with the scissors and the sharpeners and things. And I know once in a while at a rug hooking store like Donna Swanson's Whispering Hill in Woodstock, Connecticut, it's like a couple times a year, like the scissor man is coming and he can sharpen all the blades and stuff like that. And I always think, oh, I'm going to go to the scissor man. Like, let's go to the scissor man. And then for whatever reason, I don't make it on the day the scissor man is there. And I'm like, oh boy, it's going to be a long time. before the scissor man comes back. So this is a really good solution, because sometimes I cut strips with a rotary cutter too. If I'm in a real hurry, lazy man here, lazy man lobster, just like reaches for whatever is handy, and if it's the rotary cutter that's there, that's what cuts. I hope that you can tell. There's one. Oh, it doesn't look the same on the monitor. There's one strip of wool on my desk. In real life, it looks like the exact same color as my sweater. Never mind. Dave, oh, good to see you. Cold there in Toronto, I bet, but warming up with salmon patties and hard cider. You love to have hard cider on Friday nights. That's your Friday night thing, isn't it? That sounds really good. Kaz, this piece is just gorgeous. There's another piece in the show tonight that made me think I want to make more Christmas gifts this year, or holiday gifts in general. Now, oh my gosh. Okay, wait a minute. This is the model for the next piece. Let me show you the next piece, and then I'll show you the model. Oh my gosh, how cute is this? We'll go back to the little cutie pie. So, doggy, kitty, needle felt, and punch needle portrait. I am taking a Zoom class by Laura Berlage in Hayward, Wisconsin. We each pick our pet or pets, and needle felt its portrait. Then we attach it to monk's cloth, attached it to past tense, and punched the design around the felted piece using Oxford 1314 needles. So those are the fine ones, right? The really little ones. My model is my son's Great Pyrenees German Shepherd mix, Kiku. This piece will be mounted on a round frame. Oh my gosh, adorbs. That is so, I love the little stout body, right? The little puffy chest, the little snout, and the pretty collar. Now, when you put it in a frame, Kaz, that three-dimensional tail, that'll be sticking out right in front of it, right? How perfect is that going to be? Your son is going to love this. Let's look at the model, and then I want to come back. Oh my God. They are such big babies, aren't they? What a sweet face. That is a dark little snout, isn't it? Their coloring is so pretty. Sometimes this is one of the dogs I think that I see sometimes, and I can't put my finger on what the name of it is. So now I'm going to have to remember, because this is one that I don't see very often. The tail will be sticking out. Oh, perfect. Little three-dimensional tail. I wish I could see the tail. Is the tail pretty puffy on this dog? It's not like a little whip stick, like a little stick shift. Is it like a more fluffy kind of a tail? Absolutely beautiful. Look at those soft ears and those sweet eyes. You can tell that this is a sweet, sweet baby. The little soft fur at the knee. What a doll. This is a gorgeous piece. What a great idea for a class. So specific, and something that's, oh, it's fluffy. It's fluffy. I just love the shape of this body too. It is so stylized. It's so, and for people who know this, the Great Pyrenees breed, now that I just looked at the photo with the dark ears, the dark eye, the dark snout, not just at the tip of the snout, but the whole snout, that's distinctive. And then the light marking on the paws, and the color is distinctive. Yeah. Because if I didn't see that photo, I'd say, well, what kind of dog is that? I would think it was like a mix or something. I love the idea for this class. And again, this was Laura Berlage, Berlage, in Hayward, Wisconsin. And because it was a Zoom class, Kaz, I'm thinking that like people who don't happen to be from Wisconsin could also be signed up for it and appear. So it might be worth checking to see what other classes Laura is doing on Zoom. This is such a great idea. It's so sort of, it's not really a specialty thing, is it? Because a lot of people have pets, so it's not like a narrow interest class. It's a class that involves two techniques, so you're getting like 2 for 1 special, and you end up with a beautiful piece like this of your actual pet. It's a very, very smart idea. Very good idea for a class. And I imagine a lot of people got the confidence to start combining needle felting with punching or hooking. Great class. So see what else... Laura Berlage has coming up. That's a really great idea. And Kaz, you said your son and grandson are coming from Minnesota this Friday. We might go to eat out. That sounds so fun. But that would have been this Friday. So maybe you're going to eat out a little bit later. In any case, if you're about to head out to eat, I love both of these pieces, and bon appetit. Cass said anyone can take her class. Arendale Tapestry Studio. Yes, that amazing place is her website. Arendale. Can you see that? Erindale. She teaches tapestry, punching, embroidery, and also beading. I'm going to go look at that after this too. I've got two things to look at: the sharpener to buy, and the studio to check out. Kaz, thank you for those. Those are beautiful pieces. Of course, they're beautiful pieces. You made them. I'll be curious to see this framed too. Did you make it knowing that you already have a circle frame? Oh, you're going to order out. Oh, it's too cold. I hear that. We should have done that too. It is just beautiful. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Ursula, you sent. Okay, let me come to the email first. Ursula, I hope you're on tonight. I love seeing you. You've been logging on lately and doing a lot online, which is so fantastic. So Ursula says, and something coming up in Magpie. Ursula says, here is my submission for gallery night. If you have space, of course I have space. One of a series of mini hookings depicting some iconic scenes from a recent train trip. Did you do that train trip? A recent train trip across part of Canada from Jasper to Toronto. An epic bucket list trip which exceeded all our expectations. Here is a scene from Northern Ontario. The reason I said that is because that's like, I don't have bucket list stuff, but that's my one thing. I mean, there's lots of things I would like to do, but we have talked about doing that train trip so many times. We talked about that before we had kids, wanting to do that trip across Canada. And I've never heard anybody say they were disappointed. I mean, it just sounds, is it the kind, I don't know if Ursula is on right now, but I wonder if it has to be the kind of train where you can sleep, right? They don't like move you from train to train. Because I keep saying to the kids, how great would it be to take a train trip where I'm thinking of like, Murder on the Orient Express. Well, not exactly, with the, minus the murder. Or remember Richard Pryor and Gene Kelly, Silver Streak, also minus the murder. But those great train movies, they're so cozy. And I have taken an overnight train in Europe a couple of times. So much fun. Joy, happy Friday. Hook, hook, hook. Great to see you. I hope that you have decent weather and that you are going to miss this awful storm. Valerie, great to see you. Always better late than never. Lasagna at Touch of Italy in Rehoboth. Ooh, that sounds so good. Yum. Yeah, we just ate at this little pizza place in our town and we ended up being there for over an hour. I was getting so stressed. But at the same time, it was the nicest. I mean, we've been there a few times because it's our local pizza place and we want to support it. They're just so slow. But they've got booths and Teddy loves the pizza. It's like deep dish pizza. But I had the most extraordinary salad. And the reason I say that is because, I get salads lately since I've been on this like stupid diet thing. Here, let me see if I can show it to you. Teddy will come and join us in a little while. But do you remember these kinds of, there's Teddy there with his pizza. Do you remember these kinds of salads that are like pinwheels, right? They're not sandwich things, but they're like rolled up many meats. This is the antipasta salad. Rolled up many meats, like into a little pinwheel and cheese. And then she slices it into these little like rondelle, like little, and I mean, there's like 100 of them on the pizza. Like I couldn't eat them all on the salad. I mean, so cute. I think I'm going to start doing that when I make myself a salad, because then I won't feel so jilted while everyone else is eating nice food that I'm still eating stupid salads. If I have these nice little circle things on there, I thought getting so stressed about the time was almost worth it because those little pinwheel things were so cute. Viva the eating out. I think a lot of us do this on a Friday night, right? So Ursula is working on a series of small pieces. She doesn't say what size this is, but a bunch of mini scenes of this train trip from Jasper to Toronto, Canada, to where Dave is. And she's going to they will all be mounted in a photo frame, which she already has. So the pieces were designed to fit the spaces. That's brilliant. That's really brilliant. And I want to go back to say, Kaz answered about the circle of the Great Pyrenees dog, that Laura with that class sent the frame. This is amazing. These are some amazing classes. Like, what an awesome finished product, right? So be sure that you check Arendale Tapestry out. because Laura is doing some beautiful classes, some beautiful work, and and making a lot of successful hookers, punchers, and multimedia artists out there. Meet Quillies. Oh my God, they are Meet Quillies. You know, that does give me a funny idea. You know, I feel like I have a rug in me about being on this diet, and I think Meet Quillies is oh my God, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, Diane. I have to do it. And I will credit you with your great idea. I have to do a Meet Quillies piece. That will be very therapeutic. Oh my God. Or maybe I'll call it salad days, right? Like a joke. You know how people used to say salad days? Oh dear. Anyway, so this is okay. So I just have to say the idea that Ursula already had the frame with the cutouts. So we don't know, because I'm not sure that, I don't think Ursula is on live, but we don't know. You know how sometimes you see these things, at least like in the 1980s, I saw these all the time, where you would have like a big framed thing and it was glass, and it was like for postcards or different things, or different photos, and they were different shapes and cutouts. Do you remember those? Like one big mat, and I mean, we had a family one with all of our faces from, you know, through the years, tons of holes for some oval, some rectangle, you know, some square. And then the whole thing was just framed in one doodler. And of course, you would want to pop out the glass. You don't want glass over hook drugs, right? That's no good. But pop out the glass. Hey, if you could find those, or if they're making those anymore, or if there are some of those on eBay or whatever, like new vintage ones that haven't been used, that would be a good thing to look for. Particularly if the holes are quite big, which sometimes they are. Because yes, if you have some ideas for some mini stuff and you can just pop it in the holes, of course you can go to a framer, right? I mean, it's hard to know what this would cost from framer to framer, but you could go to a framer and say, okay, well, I need a big mat that fits inside a frame that's this big, right? Give me the frame, and cut the mat so that it has all of these things in it, right? That would cost money, and it might cost a lot of money. I don't know. But sometimes things with the framer cost surprisingly less than I thought. Like cutting glass costs like nothing. So you never know. It might be something to think about, because this idea of capturing a trip, like in photographs, but in hooked pieces, and having them all in the same frame, that's a very cool idea. That's a lot of fun. Michaels has them. Stop it. Do they really? And are they, can you picture them? Are they like, some are ovals and some are rectangles and stuff like that? Ooh, interesting. Leah says, my experience is showing with this question, but why would you, okay, so no, totally, that's a fair question, because you see a lot in antique stores, you see a lot of embroidery, and if very oftentimes you'll notice that the glass is fogged up. It's because with textiles, particularly with wool, because it's like such a conductor, right? It's so warm on its own. Gases build up. So if there's glass, it like gases build up between the fiber and the glass. And that's why you often see textile pieces, like embroidery pieces, needlepoint pieces. If somebody put them behind glass years ago, you often see the fogginess on the glass that is like condensation or mold or rot, but it's a problem. That's like quite a big problem. So you'd never want to trap a textile behind glass. If if we're talking about like a shadow box, that would be like a controlled experiment thing, and it's a controlled experiment that we probably could not conduct in our lifetimes, because like the automatic follow through thought would be, well, if it's in a really deep shadow box, would that be the same problem? I guess it would be this. And Leah, you're not asking this, but I'm just like thinking it through. If I guess it would be the same problem if, for example, somebody, God forbid, I'm knocking on wood again, ever trapped you on purpose, like you were in like a Columbo episode, and they trapped you in, for example, like let's go with a real Columbo episode, in a walk-in safe, right? And you only had so long to live because of the breathing. It'd be that kind of a question with the textile. Well, how big is the textile? How big is the frame? How deep is the glass, right? All of these things would come into play, but at the end of the day, gases will build up, and that will be dangerous, and it will compromise your textile. Um, so particularly when you see stuff, like occasionally I see something hooked with glass over it and it's touching the glass and it's all clouded up in places, that's not good. Yeah. Have you seen that episode of Columbo with the older lady? She's like super theatrical and yeah, it's a really good one. It's one of the early ones. Okay, yeah, science. I know. Somebody had to tell me that because I think it was my sister who works in restoration, because that wasn't intuitive to me either. I think it came about when we were in the quiet corner shopping and I saw a beautiful textile, but a lot of the stitches were discolored and the glass was cloudy, and that's how I learned that, because she was like, "Oh, that's not good, right? It's like all rotted and whatever, discolored." Poor Snow White was placed in a glass coffin. I know. I mean, if she was faking it or something, that wasn't a good call, was it? Um, Ursula, you're there. Oh, excellent, you're there. You got the frame at a thrift store years ago, and this was the perfect use for your idea. It has 7 spaces, so there's going to be a series of 7 from the train ride. God, that is such a good idea. And now we know there's the chance that they're at Michael's too. I have to start watching Columbo. I mean, I started again last year. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to think of I got my sister a T-shirt for Christmas because she loves Columbo. She's the one that got me going on it, and now I love him. Some of them are a bit too like contemporary for me, but most of them are so good. Um, um, okay, I'm going to say it's right on the edge. So if you don't like things that are naughty, do earmuffs for 1 second. I got her a shirt that was what's his name, Peter Falk, right? And you could tell it was him. It was like a graphic design of his face, and he was kind of doing his thing like, one more question, and it said, "I'm going to be careful, Falk, yeah." Okay, sorry, that was a bit naughty. But we laughed very hard when we opened it on Christmas, and we laughed very hard when she wore it that night. We were having some wine. Very funny. Yes, good, you made it. A Snow White trapped rug idea. There's a lot of great ideas that come out of our craziness on Fridays, isn't there? I love that. Ursula, I cannot wait to see the rest of this series. Ursula, are all the openings the same size or are they all different? This is a really good idea because I do love me a small rug, and just the idea, if you go on a vacation, I still like to like frame stuff and put stuff in pictures, right? I would like to put some pictures on the wall, but I would like it even more if they were all in the same frame. I mean, what a great way to capture that trip. Um, oh, you watched him growing up in Japan. He's universally great, isn't he? Is he still alive? All right, Ursula, I can't wait to see the rest of this series. This is phenomenal, and this is a really great start. I'm thinking this is number 1. Really great start. All righty, I'm keeping an eye on the silliness over there, and let's come back. Oh, we didn't even look at it. We haven't even looked at it yet. So let's look at it in some detail before we move on. I just love the idea. And, the shape of it reminds me of a train window. I'm guessing that's not a coincidence, right? The long, narrow view. Of course, sitting at a train window automatically, like it or not, gives you a picture window view, doesn't it? It frames something in this panoramic orientation where your eye just keeps capturing it. The composition, if the train is moving, is constant. It's ever changing, right? Every frame, one little bit leaves and one little bit enters. And as you roll along, I imagine you're snapping photos like crazy, or doing that thing on your phone where you hold it down and it takes like 100 photos in 2 seconds just to get that great view and that perfect composition. This is a perfect composition because we're seeing a little tiny bit of ground on the bottom. We're seeing little islands in the water. We're seeing water. We're seeing a very different color of sky. You've got the colors picked out, a very naturalist palette, right? Very realistic palette, but you can tell it's hooked small. It's hooked in a little bit of a wider cut, I would think. What is this, like maybe like a 7 kind of thing? 6 or a 7? It depends on the scale, of course, but I just love the simplicity of it. It has that impressionist look to it. There is enough information in the island to show that there's variety of color, to show the types of little trees. Number 4 cut. Oh, it is tiny. It's smaller than I thought. Wow. Okay. Now I can really get a feel for it. Pixelated quality too. Yes. All of those extra colors in the sky, the white in the sky, the light reflections in the water, the dark flecks in the water. When you're working this small, one fleck of dark blue is really enough, right? That moment, that little point of like deep, deep blue water, right? So atmospheric. The color palette is just beautiful. I honestly cannot wait to see the rest. And I think you did a second picture. Let me see. Oh my God, all my questions are answered. You know what, Ursula? When I saw this, I just looked at it quickly. I downloaded it, right? Because I was like in a crazy hurry as usual. And I didn't get what it was. I thought it was like a poster board. Now I get it. Oh, you're kidding, Melanie. This is what you're thinking too, right? I was totally thinking it was a mat that had the openings, but it's actual. Oh my God. This is phenomenal. This is a great idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, this is a great idea. And when you have this all filled in, this is going to be like the best thing in the world to look at. And all these little snapshots of this great trip. I think this is phenomenal. I love this so much. I love the black. Did it come in other colors as well? Did it come in like browns and other things? Now that I know what to look for, I was thinking of the mat board cutouts, but this is way better. And you're not fooling with paper. You can just pop the thing through. It looks so interesting inside the wood hole too. You know what I mean? This is absolutely brilliant. You are a genius. I think we're all going to be searching for these online tonight, right? And thinking about a series that each of us could do. This is a great idea. Ursula, you might have like turned us on to something here. Oh, I love this. I really love this. This is a brilliant thought. This is a great inspiration. Ursula says, oh, so you found this in the thrift store. That's right. But Melanie, you've seen these at Michael's. So it's real wood, so it could be painted. Well, the black is great for this series. But I suppose it depends on what kind of series a person is doing. Like if a person were going to do like a garden series and you had all these springtime flowers or something, you might want like a white frame or a light wood frame or something. This is such a beautiful idea. I'm very inspired. Great idea. My head is spinning. Me too. I'm having a hard time leaving this slide because I'm thinking about how much I love the Cape and how much I'd love to do something like this with places on the Cape. Ursula, do you have a sense yet of what the other images are going to be? Have you already chosen the other 6? And are they going to be mostly landscapes? Love this. Absolutely love this. Brilliant. Great contribution to this night. Melanie says, no, I saw the ones that are matted. Okay, 11 by 24 with different sized openings. That's what I was thinking too. But now we know that the wooden ones exist. So I think this is brilliant. I really do. What a great idea. And it also solves the problem of having to finish the pieces, right? You're just like popping them behind. That's also great. Love it. Okay, so Teddy, is that you?
Yes.
You coming to say hi?
Yeah.
Well, he's buttoning his shirt up, so that must be a good sign, right? Here he comes. All right, we'll stop and say hello to your buddies. Where is he? There he comes. Button up, Buttercup.
What?
Button up, Buttercup.
I'm funny, Mom. I'm sorry.
There he is. You want to say happy Friday night to everyone?
Oh, happy Friday night, everyone.
What do you got going on in there?
I think I was just playing some stuff with my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Definitely.
Did you just come over here and toot in my face?
No.
Okay.
Nah, that was not me.
Okay.
Love you, Mom.
Love you, baby. The sweetie. The Friday night sweetie. All right. Teddy, all your buddies are saying hi.
Thank you.
I told him that you were all asking about him the other night, and he got very, very excited. Teddy, you got so many people saying hi to you, you sweetie. He is so lovely. He just had a giant pizza and a bunch of my Quillies. What are you getting in there, hon?
Rice Krispie treat?
Yeah, you can have a Rice Krispie treat.
Wait. Hold on. Was somebody on the camera? What you didn't put me on the camera, Mama.
No lickies. No lickies. Buttons the dog. No lickies. There he is. Buttons the dog says, "Happy Friday night."
Happy Friday. Meat Quillies? What?
I should have saved some for you, honey. I'm sorry. I'll give him. We have some sandwich meat. I'll make some meat Quillies for you later. Okay? You can go sit right there for Mama. There he goes. Oh, it was laying on the wire. Come here, honey. Don't lay on the wire. Here he goes. Get your little paw out, honey. Don't lay on. Nobody wants to lay on a wire, right? Here he goes. Oh, there he goes. Um, oh, Ursula says yes, all planned. Lake Louise, Lake Minnewanka, derelict grain. Oh God, I love a derelict grain elevator. Seriously, in Homestead, VIA train, Victoria. No, VIA train, and combined wheat field. Done one, one to go. Oh, so you've done all of those and there's only one to go. Oh my gosh. Okay, can't wait. Yes, bundle of cuteness, huh? He'll be back. Let me move this so he can have a little bit more room. There he goes. You can come up now, honey. Get some more room. Okay, so, oh, Cindy. Okay, Cindy, you are on deck. I got to remind myself. Oh, okay, this was a fun email. So Cindy writes, amazing. Leah says, amazing, Ursula. I used to live in Lake Louise. So stunning. Can't wait to see your finished product. Oh, thanks, Rita. And Mom, if you're still on, you and Dad went to Lake Louise, right? That was one of the things you did on that Canada trip, and you thought it was absolutely gorgeous. Of course, it's absolutely gorgeous, right? Of course it is. Can I get some water? Thank you. So I'm gonna let me read the email because I bet this frame is gonna come into it. Hello. I'm gonna come back to this, right? Because we want to look at that. But first I want to look at the first rug image because, okay, here we go. Hello, this is from Cindy. Hello, this is my first and second rug. We're looking at the first one. Flying by the seat of my pants, LOL. I bought an Anderson frame on eBay. Okay, come back over here. I bought an Anderson frame on eBay and then a Trout, thank you, rug kit and taught myself with a book. Fantastic. It took a year to complete. Well, that's great. I mean, yeah, it takes time, right? It takes time to figure it out. It took a year to complete. I live very isolated in Presque Isle, Michigan. No access to yarn or any hooking supplies. So I took leftover scraps and drew the pine tree. I'm going to show you these in a minute. Drew the pine tree. Let me come back to you here. The pine tree on a scrap rectangle of monks. Okay, so this is going to be the second yarn. The second one. Let's hold that one in just a minute. I am still loving the part about how Cindy decided she was going to do this, bought a frame on eBay, got a hold of a book, bought a pattern, cut up clothing, and just started doing it, right? This is the thing about this craft that's so hard. This is the part that, like, I keep trying to bridge, right? Cindy did it. Like, Cindy is in that small group of people, and I think we all are too, unless you were kind of grandfathered into the craft by somebody in your family, like a mom or an aunt or grandma or something, or friend, right? But if you weren't, then you went the route that Cindy went and the route that I went, where you want to try it, but you realize you need all these things. And it can be off-putting, and it's very easy in this world to life is busy and crazy and a lot, and it's very easy to just go, oh, I need all that stuff. Forget it, right? It's very easy to do that. So it's very rare when you hear of people who are like, I wanted to try it. I went and bought some stuff, and then I cut up some stuff, and I just like read a book and did it. Cindy, that's amazing. Well done. That's how you do it. Because I can't tell you how many times a week, I'm not kidding, I can't tell you how many times a week I get a question. I got one today, and I always try to work really hard to make this work, but a question along the lines of, I just bought this. It's a kit, right? And sometimes the person has bought like just the pattern on linen, and sometimes the person has bought just the PDF and thinks it might be a kit, like with wool, and with the hook, and with like a hoop or a frame. So like for us, it's like, well, of course it can't be, right? Because we know how much all of these different components cost. But for someone who doesn't know this craft, it's a perfectly reasonable thing to think, okay, I bought it. Like it comes with everything, right? Because if I didn't know the craft and I thought it was latch hook, it would come with the backing and it would come with the hook. It would come with everything, right? And this is also hooking. So I never get upset. It's perfectly reasonable that someone would think, I didn't really know, so I just chose one and I bought it, but it comes with everything, right? So that's, or someone's about to order and they'll say, it comes with everything, right? And I always feel bad because it's like, well, I do have kits. I do have like beginner kits, and Haley carries kits that come with a hoop and a frame. Like different of us as rug cooking brands have different things and stock different things. I'm a small brand, right? So I don't typically stock the whole thing. I have everything piecemeal. But this comes up a lot, and I'm always completely in awe of people who are like, yeah, I figured it out, and I figured out what all the pieces were, and I got the right backing, I got the right monk's cloth, and I just did it. Like, this is amazing to me, Cindy. Amazing. Gumption, that's the perfect word for it. That's exactly what it is, because it don't come easy, does it? It takes a lot of figuring. So this is the frame that, what was this, Anderson frame that Cindy bought. Wait a minute. This is the, hang on, wait a minute. Just going back in my notes. Anderson frame. Now, I don't know Anderson frames. Does anybody know an Anderson frame? Is this for, I would think this is for needlepoint. It doesn't have a comb, which doesn't mean you can't use it for rug hooking, right? Because you could nail or tack into it. I don't know these frames. I'm wondering if it has like cotton tape on the two sides, like thin cotton tape, or if that's just like an optical illusion. But yeah, this is a gorgeous frame. I would be super tempted with this frame too, because we were just talking about this in the last episode. We know that it would be possible and even easy to stick tacks or nails, right? Old time is like nails, like flat nail heads, onto this, or to add comb with a staple gun, just staple gun the comb on. You could do it on the bottom and the top, right? And if that top rolls, it would be more like a Plymouth frame, right? The blue ones from side to side. Could do the lace-up thing. That's a wide bar. This is just a very high-end frame. It's a beautiful piece of wood. This is a gorgeous thing to have around. Absolutely love it. And New Moon, you could attach tape to it or just lace the fabric on. Yeah, absolutely. You could make it work, right? It's a little different than needlepoint, but all you need to do is attach it. So you just figure out the best way to attach it. It depends on the size of the piece too, and if it's a large piece, if you want it to roll. So let's come back to piece number 1, the fish, right? Thanks, Sharon. The fish is called, oh, she had a funny name for that, right? Dang it. Wait a minute. And trout rug kit. Sculpted edges. Wait a minute. How did I lose track of it? Flying by the seat of my, you know what? She said flying by the seat of my pants, but you know what? I don't think that's the name of the pants. I thought maybe it was like fly fishing. I think she just meant as the expression flying by the seat of my pants. Pantsing it up, right, Cindy? You are pantsing it. There's nothing better than pantsing it. It shows that you're a good problem solver, that you know how to make things work, right? And there is no skill that is going to come in more handy to you than having confidence and being a problem solver in this craft, right? Completely amazing. Ursula loves this trout. Diane says, I've seen huge 3 to 4 foot Anderson frames for hooking/tapestry on Amazon last year. Interesting. I'm going to look that up too. I just want to see. Wait a minute. Let me see if she's got us closer. No, let me come a little bit closer here. I'm so curious. Let me see what we can see. You can see the 2 legs of it underneath, right? It looks like she put another post on the left to extend it. Oh, maybe I think she put a yardstick or something just to take a photo of it on the frame. Ooh, and she's managed to get, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, the yarn behind it, right? So she's got her supply right there, almost like a tufting frame. Let me just come over here and check this out. This is really, oh wow, Cindy, I love your fireplace. That is so pretty. Isn't that so pretty, that brickwork and that pretty like honey-colored wool mantle wood? So pretty. Gosh. This is, I have to say, a mystery to me. I'm not sure how it's on there. Oh, you're punching it. Okay. You're punching it, but I'm still not sure how it's on there. You are pantsing it up big time. And obviously, it's a success and it worked. It's very, very tidy work. You don't seem to be having any problem with the frame. I think this is another inspiration. This is really a gorgeous piece. So this is the trout piece being worked on, and this is the trout piece finished. I'm going to turn it, get ready. I'm going to turn it to the right. Yeah, this is a gorgeous piece. Isn't that pretty? Love the color, love the motion of the water. It's just a beautiful piece. Very exciting. Jocelyn would love this piece because, of course, she's a great fisherwoman of our family for sure. Can't remember if it was the Anderson brand though. That's interesting. I'm going to look that up. Has anyone seen? No, let's think for a second. Has anyone seen? Fire is still there. I was just checking. I saw a video of somebody, and I'm never going to remember who it was, and she did such a good job of somebody showing. Okay, yeah. No, it wasn't this. I was just remembering a video that I saw a year or two ago of somebody. It was like a DIY video. She took from IKEA. She built a frame, a floor frame. She took, yes, this was it. IKEA sells something that is like two sawhorses, right? Like, but prettier, like finished. And then they have this skinny surface that goes over it, right? So it's like a kind of chic, like city desk, right? And it looks like they're on these two sawhorses that are like triangular. But coming out of the sawhorses, pretend this is the top of the sawhorse. There's something that sticks through it like this that can be raised high or raised low. And what keeps this piece in place are pegs, giant pegs, and that dictates the height of the tabletop. And the tabletop, if my memory serves, can be tilted a little. Doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter. What does matter is that using these two sawhorses on either side of your legs, you could raise the wooden bits up high and then lean or even attach a frame between them. And that's what she did in this video. And when I looked up the sawhorses, what I wanted to do, this was when I was on Cape Cod and I wasn't happy with my frame. I wanted a bigger frame, but I couldn't fit one in the car. So I thought very impractically, why don't I buy two giant sawhorses and now have a table that doesn't fit at all in the car? And I ended up finding a used one on the Cape, and I ended up not getting it because I thought I'm making one bad decision after another. But then I forgot about the idea, and I really liked the idea because it made a lot of sense to me. I could see myself leaning my punching frame or hooking frame at different heights in front of me on these two sawhorses, and being able to not have an attached frame, but have one of my big Oxford window pane frames leaned up at just the right height that I needed it. You know what I mean? And in different chairs to be able to adjust the height. Because sometimes I'm down here, right? I'm going to be sorry I did that. But sometimes I'm way up high. And sometimes if I move to the couch, that's a different height again. And I just thought it was cool that you could make the top of this thing that was like skinny adjustable and just lean against it. This is the Anderson frame is obviously completely different, but it falls into that category of let's keep talking about, because of rug hooking, right? And because of what everything costs, let's keep talking about it when we find ways to get right to my husband because his ears don't work, and ask him to let the dog out because the dog obviously needs to go to the bathroom. Dog. I'm just going to write the words dog out because that's the kind of wife that I am. And he interprets the tone, right? Like psychically, he interprets the tone. Because I'm thinking he does hear the dog, right? Anyway, I'm thinking we should keep talking about ways, things that we find, tools that we find that can hacks that can help us do this craft for less money with more variety, piecing it as we go, and doing a Cindy, right? Just seat of the pantsing it. sounds like an architect drafting desk. It was, but it was the piece that went across was super small. So like a drafting table is normally like a huge square or rectangle. This was like really small, and that's why I liked it because I thought it doesn't have a huge blue. Okay, here comes message number 2. Can you come upstairs and let the dog out now? Yeah, it was like that, but I thought with such a small top to be able to lean and for it to be so adjustable with pegs and the fact of it having pegs, you know when something is pegs are pegs, right? Like they're gonna last forever, right? If some ding dong sits on it, big huge thick pegs are holding it together like it's super sturdy, whereas something that has like a crank or a little device or whatever, a little tightener thing, you tighten it here, you tighten, that never works. These pegs, man, they would stay in. You just put it in, you could put the house on it, right? You could park your car on it and that is going to stay sturdy. Really liked this. But I'm also really curious to look at that Andersen frame. So I'm going to do that after the show. I'm going to check that out and try to figure out how people are using these frames, which are way more plentiful online and in person in stores, and just way more present on Facebook Marketplace if you want to buy a used one, and they cost like nothing. How can we turn these into like Frankenstein creations that are suitable for rug hooking? That's a conversation I never want to stop having because that is really practical. Hold on, buttons. And this was the other piece that Cindy was talking about. Oh, you know what? I have my phone on airplane. Oh my gosh, what a jerk. What a jerk. Teddy, is that you? Can you please let the dog out? Okay. Me. Okay, that's his phone making the beep noises that my messages arrived. Sorry, I was asking for the dog because he's barking. So the second piece that Cindy was working on, see, this is the thing about the living room. I'm sorry. The second piece that Cindy was working on is the pine tree. Cindy, this is amazing. So let me come back to this text as well. So I live, I'm very isolated, Presque Isle, Michigan. So I took leftover scraps and drew the pine tree on a scrap rectangle of monk's cloth. I ran out of yarn. This is why the tree has sculpted edges. Wow. I cut out a 1/2-inch sculpted edge. I took a thin line of white glue left. Okay, wait, we have one more picture in us. Left a 1/4-inch gap between the yarn and the cloth. Okay, so you're going to see this piece in a minute because it's actually a shaped piece. So Cindy, you are more than pantsing it. Like there has to be a word for advanced pants. We'll just say you are advanced pantsing it. This is unbelievable. So you drew this, and I have to say, just starting with you drew this. This is a beautiful stylized tree. I know that it's not what you were thinking and that it had to change shape because you ran out of yarn, but this is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this is gorgeous. And it's on the frame again. Oh, are those little prongs, like little nails or something sticking up out of the carpet tacks? Is that carpet tack sticking out of the frame? Oh, I bet that's carpet tack. Do you think? I feel like I've got a better view now. This is absolutely gorgeous. Rita says, okay, there's also a battery running low. Uh-oh, where's my charger? Uh-oh, here we go. Got it. Okay, hang on. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, geez, sorry. Whew, that was scary. Okay, lots going on. There we go. Let's tuck that over there. All right, how about one more heart attack tonight? New moon. Wait a minute. No, Andersen. Okay, no. Wait a minute. Let's come back. This is some serious frame talk. We need this. Rita says, I have an Andersen frame and it has pins. Whoa, to stretch out your foundation. I believe Mr. Andersen was from Michigan or around here somewhere, maybe even Canadian. So those are little pins that are sticking out. Rita, how hard or easy is it to hurt yourself on this frame? Is this the kind of frame where you would want really, really, really thick, like felt to like cover, like to custom cover these. Um, Sue's great to see you from snowing, blowing, frigid Kansas. I love it. Oh, it sounds very festive there. You hunker down and be safe during this stormy weekend. I'm sorry I missed those comments. New Moon, I have a 32-inch rigid heddle loom. I've toyed with the idea of making it double as a rug hooking frame. You know what? I'm sure it's possible. I'd be so curious if you do that, how you go about it, because it's a frame, right? It has to work. It has 4 sides. It's going to work. It's just a question of what will hold the material best, be the safest. Buttons, you didn't go outside, did you? Oh, yeah, he's right here by my feet now. What makes the most sense? That's the question, right? It has rollers north and south. Well, the rollers are great, as we know, with the Plymouth frame. It's 32 inches wide, fantastic. That would accommodate a pretty good range of sizes. Absolutely. Kanga says, zoom in. You can see the fabric is attached to the frame. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, this is kind of exciting. Anderson frame on eBay, really? Yeah, those are little pins sticking up, not carpet tack. Okay, so Anderson created this frame where these little pins are sticking up. They don't look like they're viciously sticking up. You know, they're not pulling the material either because there's so many of them. This really is interesting. And now you can roll. You can roll north and south. I think everyone's going to be looking for an Anderson frame tonight. I wonder what kind of price these things are. Myra says, Anderson frames have nails sticking up, which you stretch your backing over to tight. So are these frames are meant for rug hooking or for any kind of needlepoint? See along the green tape. Yeah, I can see them. I can see that it looks like they're north, south, east, and west. And unlike other examples of pins and tacks holding frames, this is holding it really evenly because they look really small and they look like they are really constant. Like there's tons and tons of them, right? Embrace the advanced pantsing. I love it. This is so interesting. Yeah, I'm so curious about these Anderson frames. I'm so curious to see what the price point is like. I want to see them. I mean, I would get, okay, they are sticking up pretty high, aren't they? They're sticking up very high. So that's okay as long as you don't, touch them, right? And there's no kind of cover for them, right? You just have to pay attention, be careful, and maybe you want like a strip of the really, really thick felted felt, right? Or something like that to put up. Could you put, for those of you who have used this, east-west, it doesn't matter, does it? Because your arm's probably not going to catch it east-west, hopefully. Could you north-south use like a pool noodle that was sliced open? So it was like still a circle, but it had a slice in it like the letter C. Could you clamp that over it if it was cut to size? Would that be possible? Rita says, mine has wooden protectors. Oh, over the metal pins. Doesn't look like Cindy's has these. No, you can't get poked. No, if it has a protector, that would be a serious game changer. I mean, this is like amazing. This looks like it's holding it better than combs hold it. Edmund Anderson is the one on Amazon I saw beyond my price range. Okay, $250 to $300 if I remember right. That, you know what, that is a lot, but for a frame this size, I think that's comparable to ones that you would find on Etsy that are for rug hooking, right? I'm still so yes, that is a price ticket for sure. I wonder if with a needlepoint frame you could do the same idea with carpet tack and a pool noodle to just clamp over it, right? So that you didn't accidentally. Might that? I mean, I don't know, but I feel like something like that might be like a version of this that was at a completely different price point. I mean, the pool noodles are $1 and you only need one. And you see the frames for like $10-15 standing frames for needlepoint on Facebook, and you can get carpet tack, carpet tack, yeah, at the hardware store for like $1 a strip. 2 different Anderson frames out there. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm going to stop because I know I'm being a lot, but I think this is really interesting. I'm so excited about the frame and these pieces. I loved the fish in the first piece. I can see why you wanted to use the glue because you were doing a shaped piece. This is so beautiful. And you know, Cindy, this might turn out to be one of the scenarios in life that falls into the category of happy accident. Like you ran out of materials, but that sort of what precipitated that. It's like you decided to make lemonade, right? Instead of wallowing in the problem. And you ended up making a shaped piece. And this is just like a dynamite piece. It is absolutely so unique. The stylization, like the shape of the tree, the pieces of tree, and the solid straightness of the trunk, the clean white background, the shaped sides, everything about this piece I think is so appealing. Everybody loves it. It's a gorgeous piece. A lot when you're a newbie. Yeah, oh, totally. And you're not sure if you'll stick to the craft. Now I'd consider it because, yeah, hooking rocks, but absolutely at the beginning of hooking, yeah, 250 to 300 for anything, right? I mean, for some people, it's like a drop in the bucket or whatever, but for most people, certainly for me, I mean, I wouldn't spend that unless I really had it earmarked, you know. It is in my world a lot of money too. But rug hooking is a lot of money. That's why, you know, it doesn't have to be. But stuff that people want to sell you is a lot of money. That's why it's so great to look at stuff together and to talk about what your other options are, because then we get thinking about ways to do these hacks. And oftentimes hacks work just as good as anything, right? Yes, you could use pool noodles, right? And get them in the summer, right? Because as soon as you hit the end of the summer, they're not there anymore. And like we see them at like the dollar stores and stuff, but they're not there until next spring/summer. Get them while you can, because I would think that would be very, very good, because some of them are very thin too, right? Beautiful pieces, Cindy. Thank you so much for all of the food for thought that you gave us. I just want to remind you with this piece, because you did this sculptured, right, shaped border, you left a quarter-inch gap, between the yarn and the cloth, and let it dry, and you dropped a thin line of glue in, let it dry, and then you whip stitch the edges. Yeah, you didn't want it to unravel. I saw you were using tape, right? Instead of sewing or serging the edges, tape is just as good. As long as it doesn't unravel, that's all you want, right? You don't need to do something with the serger or a sewing machine. You just don't want it to unravel. That's all. So you didn't want it to unravel, so you put a little bead of glue all the way around so it did not unravel, and then you whip stitched it. This is absolutely perfect. It is beautiful work, incredible problem solving. I think we are all really in awe. Problem solving is everything. Jessica, you have been busy. Jessica Troyer writes, I started a new spring cleaning challenge. This could be a future Magpie Times theme, hit or miss projects, and storage solutions. I like this combo. I'm trying to use up as many leftover noodles as I can. I acquired this antique pineapple pattern from my friend, Miriam Ham, and this is Quail Hill Designs. Oh, I love Quail Hill. I transferred it from burlap and decided to hook it completely hit or miss using only noodles. Wow. Okay. Using only noodles I have already. It has been fun so far. The rug is huge. It is 72 by 36. I decided to personalize it by adding a bunny family, which will nestle behind and in between the flowers. I'm considering adding the words, "You are the pineapple of my eye," and include a picture with and without the words. What is everyone's opinion, with or without the phrase? I think I missed putting one of the pictures in because it accidentally didn't come through, and then I got in a panic. I do have it with the words too, but I want to hold for a second here for just a minute while we look at this and talk about this. Just wetting my whistle. this is another phenomenal piece, and I want to come in a little bit closer because, so Jessica, for the border, I'm going to do the background next, but for the border, you have a lot of black or dark enough black to make something that looks like an antique black border, because you've committed to that dark border, and I think that's the way to go, because whether you've got black or charcoal or navy, it's going to work. And then all of the flowers and motifs can be done hit or miss with whatever noodles are left. This is absolutely brilliant. The color you need the most of is obviously the background of the inner field. We'll talk about that, but also the border, right? So I think it's a smart call using black because we all have a lot of either dark or light noodles. So that was really smart planning. Now, the other part you need a lot of is the field background, right? That we're seeing between these pineapples. You are killing it. Like I could see from a distance, it looked hazy, like there was color changes happening. I think this is so exciting because for those of us who are rug hookers, we feel suspenseful about this, right? You feel the suspense because you can empathize with playing chicken with rugs and trying to use your schnoodle noodles and nothing else, and it's hard, and it is fun. What a great update on this design. Absolutely. It's Jessica, leave it to you. It's so quirky. It's a personal challenge. You have got it personalized with the baby bunnies, right? This is so you, this project. I absolutely love it. I love the way that it's evolving with all of these color changes. It is, as Gail says, fabulous. It is so pretty. That the way that you're doing the background, that haziness to it is so exciting. I can't wait to see more of that. I haven't done anything like that, and I'm so interested because it really looks magical. And Kirsten loves the bunnies. I love the bunnies as well. Let's look at, okay, a close-up of the pineapples. So beautiful. You got some good consistent color with the pineapples, with the background, with the greens. And the fact that the border has so many different motifs means you're in good shape, right? You can just keep changing colors. This really is brilliant because you look at some of these bigger, older rugs, right, that are this kind of size and you think, man, that's going to take a lot of wool to do it. I would never think to do something like this, like one of these kinds of designs in hit or miss, because I would just assume I needed tons of every color and that it was going to be a bear, right? It was just going to be not a bunny, but a bear. And you look at things, and you're a great problem solver. So you look at things with a very capable mind and open mindset, and you come up with the most incredible solutions. This is with the text, "You are the pineapple of my eye." And I got to say, I like it with the text. I think I missed putting the in between one. I'm sorry about that. So let me come back here. Right, those just the bunnies, but with the text. I mean, you're going to have to pull out to get the pineapples in, obviously. I love the "you are the pineapple of my eye." Would it be utter sacrilege, for example, to take out the bottom border and to do the floral border north, south, and east? Sorry, north, east, and west, and in the south to put "you are the pineapple of my eye"? I mean, maybe that is utter sacrilege. I like it like this. I'm worried about, I'm a little worried about the pineapple. "You are the pineapples of my eye," of course, the kids. I'm a little worried about the pineapples. I'm worried it's going to get lost in that font anyway. And I know you changed fonts because you were making a smart decision. I like the way that the cursive font kind of mimics the curliness of the pineapple green, whatever that stalk is called. I like how it feels the same. It's curly. I like that. I somehow would like to see the P for pineapple like much bigger, because I think the fact that we're seeing two pineapples is going to help with the immediate recognition of the word pineapple, right? Because it's like power of suggestion. There's pineapples. I would love to see if you leave it in this position, I would love to see the P bigger. And maybe, how like illuminations and religious texts start out with like just one letter that's like really bold and out of proportion, much bigger size font than the rest of the letters. I feel like that might help because there is more space where the P might go. I just hate to see you tear up that area because it is so magical. It looks like static, like TV static. It's so cool. I hate to see you rip that part out. Newman says, I saw this on Facebook and was really impressed with the coloration on the leaves. It is super impressive. And it would help to have the border going all the way around because it's a cool border. I was just thinking, it's also possible to maybe bring, I was just thinking about bringing the bunnies in more to make different room for the text. It's hard, isn't it? I like the importance of words if placed in the bottom border. That's true. The words do become they do become more important if they're in the bottom. I'm wondering, I'm thinking as my mouth runs. Because right now, I'm wondering, do the flowers in the background of the field matter very much? Because there's a lot of flowers in the border, and now we've also got bunnies there. I'm wondering if the words might just be spaced out more or bigger at the sacrifice of some of the flowers in the border. But you're right, adding text to the bottom does add importance, right? It brings your eye immediately to the joke, right? It makes the pineapples make sense, the bunnies make sense, and it does add weight to the bottom. There's a lot of directions. If I had this project, I'm afraid I'd be sitting here like indefinitely, printing things out in different sizes and moving them around. I love the project. I love the bunnies, and I love the text. I would hate to see the text go. Move the bunnies to the border. Ooh. You know, that's interesting. Or move, you could move all of them. Okay. You could even make ideas, right? Just ideas. You could make the bunnies a little bit bigger. You could move, for example, 2 of them to the bottom border and keep 2 of them on the border of the field, the center field, right? So 2 were lower than the others. That would open up more space for the text. I feel somehow like to break up the pineapples in any way could become confusing. But then again, this is a huge rug, right? So I'm looking at this little word pineapples, but the rug is really big. Or alternately, make the bunnies smaller and hide them in with the flowers. You know, that's interesting too. I think I like them. I have to say I like them this size, but I do like the hiding them behind the flowers and among the flowers. I do like that, like a I Spy kind of thing. I do like that. There's a lot of thought that needs to go into this. Right now, there is a lot of room for play if you don't feel precious about all of these flowers, right? Because it's flowers in the border, it's flowers in the center field, and it's pineapples. And I feel that it is more important with the family story to be adding the bunnies, right? So to me, that's a given. Bunnies are in. And I feel like on top of the bunnies, this joke, right? You are not the apple, you are the pineapples of my eye, is a great joke, and it's funny and it fits. It works with this rug. I feel like the priority is making sure that the bunnies stand out and that the text stands out. And I think there's still some fiddling to do in person. You want to actually cut and paste and move these pieces around to really understand what the choices are. But for me, the answer to the text is like I definitely would want the text in there. um, because the whole piece is an overwrite, right? That's the joy of it. That's the fun of it. That's the beauty of it. It's an overwrite with a personal story written on top of it. So I would, at all costs, preserve and make sure that the bunnies and that the text are very, very readable. And for me, no matter how you lay it out in the end, um, there's going to be a lot of flowers. There's going to be plenty of that last rug in the mix. So I think however you can work it to get that text really prominent. I was just playing with what if all the bunnies were on one side. I have to admit, I kind of do like the idea of the bunnies in the bottom border. Like if the bunnies were all in the bottom border, Kanga, I love that idea. And then the flowers were behind the bunnies. That would leave more room to spread out the words. Yeah, I'm trying to picture the words wrapping around the "You are the pineapples of my eye." Just different configuration. Yeah, Melanie says, I like larger text. I like larger text too, even at the expense of flowers. But I think, yeah, I think bunnies in front of flowers is going to work great. And even bunnies in different places is going to work great. I guess I don't see any logical necessity to keep the pineapples in the center, the flowers in the center, the bunnies in the center, and the text in the center, because it is a big rug and there's a lot of flowers. I think if it makes it more readable and gives more weight to the part that you're adding, the family part, the text and the bunnies, I think it's important to make that sacrifice to the existing design because there's so much of the existing design. Can the text follow? Can the text follow the outline of the pineapples, not east and west? Not east and west. I think that would be a very cool, like I was thinking of wrapping around "You are the," on the left-hand side at the top, pineapples, like wrapping around the right. See, if the words are too spread out, though, then maybe you would have to do "of my eye" at the bottom right. You know what I mean? Maybe. Just for balance, because they're all little words as well. How many words have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I can see, Jessica, why you put the pineapples in the middle, because it's a hard number of words to break up. I'm still thinking. Sorry, I can't leave while I'm still thinking. And I'm wondering if you're all looking and problem solving as well. This is a fun puzzle. New Moon, the taller bunnies could even break the borders. Yeah. And that would be really cool if they did. You know, that little bunny, the little one that's the second from the left, he could even be in the top border, right? He could be up there. I could see that one being in the top border. I could see the one on the far left sitting on the bottom borderline, not in the field, but at the very bottom borderline. I can see the little Evie bunny with the flower where the small bunny is, right? I could see that bunny there sitting on the field line as opposed to the other bunny, which would be dropped. And then I would have to look at that laid out, but I would then think that Sword Bunny would be on the field line on the right-hand side. And I think I would love it like that. One of them in the top border, one of them in the bottom border, and then two of them on the field border bottom line, if that makes sense. Doesn't solve the problem of the pineapples. But I think if the bunnies were placed in their forever place, that it would be a lot easier to see the best way to lay the text out. And we're kind of struggling with the fact of it being 7 words. 6 words is great, right? The 6 words are great because you can do 2, 2, 2, or you can do 3, 3. But the pineapples is the word that's kind of killing the symmetry, right? And this is a very symmetrical composition. That's the problem, isn't it? So But the thing is, if pineapples, I do like pineapples in a different text. I just feel like it's too small to read. If pineapples, even in this text, were larger, if the bunnies were in different positions, I bet that your eye would immediately go, well, that's where pineapples goes. And once you know where pineapples goes, because it might wrap between bunnies, you know what I mean? Weird sentences, I know. But once you know where pineapple goes, it's going to be very easy to get you are the in one place and of my eye in another. And I think it's going to work really well. Um, Kanga says, add some clothing to Smallest Bunny to make it part of the Peter Rabbit family. The others all have something cute going on that they're wearing. And Valerie says, the challenge for Jessica is blending the traditional design with her awesome storytelling design. That is exactly the challenge. And the thing is, Joss, you want to come say hi? The thing is that it's going to happen in the craziest way because she said, I'm good. In the craziest way because Jessica does this all the time. So I know that I can't see it, and I know she's going to get there first because this is like her superpower is figuring out how to do this. If the bunnies shifted out into the border breaks, then wrapping text around pineapples would work better. Yeah, it definitely would. And Kirsten says, is this floor for the rug or wall? That's a good question because that makes a big difference too. We'll see if Jessica's still there. She's at home with the kids, so it's hard to know if she's still there. Rita says, why do you need the word pineapple at all? You know what, Rita? I was thinking the same thing. Our brain reads it like a word puzzle. So Rita's point is you could make it like a part rebus, right? And just do you are the pineapples of my eye. I was thinking the same thing, Rita. Jinx, you are so smart. I like that too because it's like it has a kids theme, right? It already has the storytelling quality of bunnies. Rita, yes. I have to say, I think this is my favorite solution as well because it reads like a rebus now. It's like partly letters and partly a picture. And then I would still move the bunnies, I have to say. I would possibly still move the bunnies around. Yeah, I think I would still move the bunnies around. Just for variety, right? Just for traveling. But it depends on how cohesive you want that border to be. And that's something that only you know. But I feel like you could make the text for you are the and of my eye and move the bunnies a little bit, even if you want them all in the inner border. And I agree. I think just looking at the pineapples that you're going to get the joke, right? This is a family rug. It's for you, your husband, the kids, and the family. They're going to get the joke, right? And it doesn't matter if every person who ever sees this rug gets the joke. You all know the joke. And I agree with Rita. Anyone looking at this who's kind of clever or sees it as a whimsical rug is going to figure out what the line is anyway. And Kanka says, make the bunnies peeking out from behind the border, like looking in from a window. Ooh, that could be possible. I wonder if the border is big enough. This is so interesting. This makes me want to reach for one of these old rugs, of which I have many, and start fooling around with it. I mean, at the end of the day, this is going to be like this astonishing, super high whimsy storytelling rug with this cartoony feature to it. And it started out, I mean, all Quail Hill patterns are obviously beautiful. It started out as a fairly traditional rug, right? And for people who are not super inspired by traditional rugs, they might give this one a pass. Well, when Jessica's finished with it, it's going to be a rug that nobody gives a pass to because it's got the best of both worlds, right? I'm going to move on. I'm not ready to move on, but I'm going to move on because time's a ticking. I'm sorry if I spent too long there. Just thought that was such an exciting puzzle. I was going to say, I hope you can't see Teddy because he's got his shirt off again, but we're here in the slideshow. That was such a fun puzzle for us to work out together. So some other things that you were working on, you made this sketch booklet for yourself over New Year's Eve. My son got sick that day, so I stayed home with him while my husband and my family had fun at a friend's house. Oh, I'm sorry, Jessica. Feeling kind of depressed. I hooked this out of leftover noodles, bits of yarn, odds and ends. I turned it into a journal for my quiet times this year. First time sewing a sketch booklet. Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. Do we have a, yeah, that's the front cover. That is so, leave it to you, right? Like this is so fun. Really beautiful piece. Um, yeah, really beautiful piece. You know, I just, Jessica, I just love you, and I love how you are. I love how you do like lemonade. Um, and it's like it, you know, I think of Jessica, I think of so many of you so often, and getting to know your personalities here, like on these nights that we're together. I think of you all so often. Like I honestly do, because I am such a person who gets into a bad mood. Like as you can see, I'm sure you see hints of it when I'm live. But I get into such like a dither so easily, and beyond a dither, right? That should be the title of my memoir, Beyond a Dither. And I get in such a bad place. And like there's so many people who do such solid work when you're like feeling like Jessica's like depressed, right? I had to stay home, and other people out at a party, and it was a bit depressing. It's a big day, it's a big night, you know. And instead of like sinking into that misery, which I would have not only sunk like into the quicksand, I would have basked, and I probably would have made it worse by like damaging something on purpose or doing something crazy, right, to make it worse. It is such an inspiration. You all are such an inspiration, and you just are always reminding me that in any scenario, rug hooking is great therapy, right? For whatever kind, it's great to celebrate the good things, and it's great to work through the bad things. I need that reminder all the time. Um, yeah. You like that Juju Needle Wise. You like that the best too, taking the word pineapples out. Rita, thank you for saying that. I thought it, and then I thought, yeah, is that a stupid thing to say? But you're braver than me. It's not a stupid thing. I think it makes perfect sense, and I think it's even better. I really do. Yeah, and yeah, great idea. That was really really a brainstorm. So project for New Year's Eve, right? Jessica is very very fast. Jessica also finished the piece, the ribbon candy hooking piece. This is my piece from a few years ago, maybe 20, I think it was 2020. This was a free pattern that we put up in our Facebook group and at Ribbon Candy Hooking, the website. It should still be there for you. It's called Faithful Friends. Sorry. What is it, Buttons? Boy, Buttons, I just love it when you stare at nothing and start barking. Oh my gosh, what is he looking at? He's scaring me. What is it, Buttons? He's like looking at nothing and barking. Oh my god. Anyway, see if you can figure it out. He sees a ghost. What is it? Oh, I wonder if he sees like the shadow, like an optical illusion.
Oh yeah.
I think he sees a shadow. Okay. Gosh, sorry about that. Faithful Friends. So that should still be there for you at Ribbon Candy Hooking, and it's a download, so you can make it any size, whatever works for you. Love this piece. So Jessica writes, I finished Faithful Friends over Christmas. I sewed it as a pillowcase cover, so it's now a pillow. All I need to do is finish it by crocheting or whipping the border, and it's sitting about 1/4 done. Well, you've gotten very very far. This is a tricky piece to hook, right? And this was all about, through COVID, reaching out for each other with our mittens, but the strings that attached the mittens were more like telephone cords, right? Because we were all trying to stay in touch with each other and not necessarily seeing each other over Christmas in 2020, right? The whole holiday season was kind of a bust. But you were struggling with the yarn, Jessica. The yarn was being very tangly, and you put it in time out. I put it in time out. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was being that naughty. I get it. So you have those moments too, a little bit. Jessica says, I am just joining back in after driving home, everyone. I'll have to listen back later. Yeah, you got some great suggestions, Jessica. And one of the big ones was just take the word pineapples out and make it like a rebus. I think that was a great one. We had some great ideas for you about the placement of the bunnies. And Jessica says, and of course, I won't read the end of that email. Some secret things that Jessica's working on for the upcoming Magpie Times. So, Jessica, great work as usual. Barking at the yard bear, maybe. Maybe. Somebody saw a bear not that long ago, and I thought they were all supposed to be sleeping. My word. We'll see what happens next. I don't want to leave the shed door open for a bird. Oh, this is another shot of the journal. Yep, I put those in the wrong order. I'm sorry, but that looks so perfect and so inspiring to reach for that, right? It's a great, it is a sewing project, yes, but you figure it out, right? Um, oh, Rita says, Jessica, I love your final result, and the red words were overpowering. This is perfect. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. I love the journal. I love all of the pieces you were working on. You are a just fireball, a crazy fireball. Um, Valerie, I'm sorry, Buttons is distracting me. Valerie, you sent this stunning piece, and I was just talking about Backets. And Rebecca and I, Storyteller Will, were just talking about Backets too. Let me read this first. Valerie says, Hi, Deanna. This is my second Backet. You know what? You can't have enough Backets. And, just putting it out there because it will be summer at one point. And one of my Backets is a vest, like a denim vest, right? For summer, because sometimes a jean jacket, even in the evening in summer, is too hot. Well, the Backets never have to end, do they? There's so many things you can attach to. So this is your second Backet, Valerie, all hooked with thrifted wool yarns, except the lavender is a blend. Okay, well, that's going to be perfect, right? I gave the jacket to my sister. The design is my own. It is so cheerful. These are very fun, quick projects. Thanks again for all your inspiring encouragement and all this art of rug hooking. It's so much fun for all of us. Valerie, I have to know, how did you attach your Backet? So I was talking about this with Rebecca. First of all, I love this design. I love the scalloping you did around the edge. It really has a springy, summery vibe for me. Like, I love the blue and white scalloping. I love the happy looking flowers, right? I love it. The background looks gray. And maybe it's not, but it looks great. And I love it. It's neutral. It's making everything pop. I mean, it just looks like in my bedroom by my bed, I have like a really cheerful old hooked rug. It's a big one, and it's like flowers that look like this, and it has a gray background. It really reminds me of the colors and everything, and I just love it because it's cheerful. It's the last thing I see at night when I get into bed, and it's the first thing I see in the morning, and I just love it. I love this piece. It's amazing. I would love to have this jacket to wear like in the spring, But I'm wondering how you attached it because oh God, I hope that black bears hibernate. They're supposed to hibernate, right? But I don't know. They don't always. But this year it's been exceptionally cold, so I hope that they are. Years where it's not that cold, they sometimes don't because they're confused. Hold on one second. I'm going to sip. So I'm wondering how you did yours because I did my two Backets by sewing them onto the back panel. And to be honest, on both of them, I'm not sure I'm going to keep them on those specific jackets. I know one of them I want to take it off because I want to put it on something else, and I want the jacket without a back on it now. Valerie, you said I tacked it on. I told my sister, if it really needs to be washed, I'll take it off. Okay, so you tacked it on. You tacked it on with hand sewing. Perfect. That's a really good idea because then you're not committed. So the reason Rebecca and I were talking about these Backets is because we were talking about how we fastened them. So I told her, I sewed mine on too. I think I sewed mine on like pretty tight, but I did sew mine on. And now I have to take it off, and it's going to be a bit of a project, But she said Rebecca said with hers, she takes the panel out. And, I think the next one I do, I might take the panel out. So if you were going to do it, so don't take the panel out if you're not sure, or you want to do what Valerie does. If you want to change them for like seasons and stuff like that, don't take the panel out, right? That's like permanent commitment. But if you know that you're going to put it in there permanently, like it is appealing to me on my next Backet maybe to just take, and you would take the panel out. Let's do this. I know but I just want to be really clear. Get my Sharpie marker. If this was the panel, wait a minute, I'm going to look at the jacket for inspiration. Okay, and then we've got like this, and it goes here, and it goes here, and it goes here, and hang on. Okay, I didn't do it to scale, but if you were going to take the panel out, right, this is the panel. So there's seams here, right? There's like double seams that are holding it in here and here. This is the bottom, and there's always something going on there. And there'll be a seam here. Leave the seams, right? You just cut under where it's like one layer of fabric, right? You don't cut into the seams. You don't cut into the seams of the corner. You just cut through the one layer and pull it out. And is it going to be a little bit shreddy around the edges? Yeah, you'll have to trim those little threads, right? Be a little bit shreddy, but try to get that piece out. Do not cut the parts that are sewn, right? Because then we're talking about you signed up for a big project at that point. You cut into you cut too much, right? Just cut out that single ply fabric panel, and then if you cut it out well, that's the size of the rug that you can make. So you can just lay that down on a piece of backing fabric and hook it. And then when you hook it, right, be careful about staying in the line, not on the line or outside of the line. After you hook it, pop it into the hole, see if it fits. Because if it does fit, you could just clean up, trim your edges, clean it up, and just sew it in there, right? You could cover it with like quilt fabric or cotton tape or whatever. But it's like a puzzle piece that you took out, and you're literally putting a different puzzle piece in behind it. But Valerie put this one on as a temporary one so that it can be taken off or it could be changed, right? And that's the beauty of these baskets. You have a lot of choice. People don't know if it's tacked on, sewn on. Sewing it on is appliquing it, right? You can tack it, you can applique it. These are levels of commitment. Or you can take the back panel out and replace it. These are all levels of commitment. Really depends on what you want from the jacket and how often you want to make those changes. This is a beautiful piece. I absolutely love it, and I'm so glad you showed it because I love seeing things. We've seen a lot of things today that are different, right? That are different than straight up hooked pieces. It's good to be reminded of all the different things you might do besides your rug hooking, right? We're always going to do our hooked pieces, but it's so fun to think of other things we might do besides two-dimensional pieces. This is a two-dimensional piece, but inserted in a fashion item. Valerie, it's absolutely beautiful. Do I mean felled seams? Yes. I would not, if you look at this piece, let me make this a little bit bigger. If you look at this piece, you can see the seams on the sides of it. So you see, I don't think you can see my cursor, but on the top, right, you see like you see the seam that is like, it's two layers, right? Because it's joining the pattern pieces for top and bottom. Same thing with the two side panels. There is a middle panel, but you can see slightly on the sides, those are two side seams, almost like a yoke, but they're fitting your sides, right? So those are seams as well. I wouldn't cut on the outside of them, and I wouldn't cut into them. I would cut on the inside of them, because if you don't cut into them and make them vulnerable and damaged, if you can just get that piece out by cutting it, with tiny, I would do with small scissors, right? Make a hole with small scissors and then do it as close to that seam as you can without cutting into the seam. And then you're going to notice there's threadiness, right? Because it was attached to, on all four sides. You're going to clean it out, cut those threads, right? So that you can't see them anymore. And you're going to be able to drop something in right behind. Now the piece you drop in behind it needs seam allowance. So if you take that pattern piece out successfully, save the top stitching, save the stitching on all four sides, right? You want the single ply piece of fabric out, but save all of that stitching. That is the frame that is going to go around it, right? Because if you don't have the frame to drop it into, then you need to create new edges for the denim part, where the denim part of the thing ends. You don't want to be creating new edges or borders for the denim because you already have them. You want to preserve the ones that are there. You just want to take out that one little flim-flam piece of material that's in the center. You just want to cut that out, put it down on your backing material, right? Even if you have to cut it out in pieces because it puts up a fight, just reconstruct it on your backing material. And then you have that shape. Don't cut it out until you put it back into the hole to make sure that it fits. Just like with Ursula's piece that she popped through the frame, right? Pop it through, persuade the loops, right? The loops at the edge, the very border loops, persuade them to get in there, right? And to stay in there. They are going to stand up so nice against these really rigid seams. The seams are thick and strong. Your loops are going to stand up great against them. And then take it out if you're a little bit short, or if you've gone over, take it out, adjust it, pop it in again until you feel like it's a perfect fit. After that, you want to figure out how you want to finish your seams to your hooked piece, right? If you want to finish them and just stitch it in with tape around the edges in the back, right, catching both pieces, or if you want to quilt the edges or whatever just to hide the seams. We should do a video, right? We should do a video. Kirsten is reminding us I'm hosting the Ribbon Candy Hooking pop-up Zoom hook-in tomorrow from 11 a.m. Tomorrow is Saturday the 24th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link will be in the Facebook page, which is Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club, in the featured area. Click on featured, and she's going to put the link up soon. If you are not on Facebook and you want the link, write to Kirsten or to me so that we can forward you the link. And Kirsten says, come do something craft, art, or fiber with us, right? So tomorrow, 11 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And be looking for that link in the group. Valerie, that was a beautiful piece, and I loved it. Shannon, I love this piece as well. Shannon, my good buddy, Shannon Carter sent this piece in. She completed Spring Pussy Willows, and this is one of Patricia Bach's patterns. Now, I see Patricia's patterns here and there. I see her drawings a lot. I'll tell you what, I am in love with her designs. She is doing beautiful work. Shannon hooked this in a number 8 cut and yarn. She used hit or miss on the branches, right? And you can see that because there's different shades of brown. Doesn't that add so much to the piece to have hit or miss on the branches? Because the bunny is kind of patterned with different browns or maybe a textured brown. The background is mostly that green. There's a few little color changes, like it's mottled, but and the white buds have a few color changes. The branches are more hit or miss, and and they kind of sink into the background. They make magic. They make an aura, right? It's almost like it has a vapor in front of it, like a mist, a magic mist. It adds so much to a piece when you choose what part you want to do hit or miss. This came out so great. Shannon said, I think I jacked up his front hind paws as they were kind of squarish. I don't think you jacked them up. I love it when you say things like that, but I don't think you jacked them up. I think it looked. I didn't look at this and go, look at those jacked up paws. No, I don't think you did. I love you. But he is a one of a kind, she says, LOL. Well, he is a one of a kind because he's like a perfect bunny, and this is an amazing piece. She still needs to press it and bind it, but I think this is a beautiful piece. Shannon loves to do primitive style pieces, and she is so good at them. I love the proportions of this guy. His head is a little bit small compared to his body, and he's got these like toy style ears, right? They're skinny, and then they turn into these perfectly round ears. They are so, so pretty. Patricia's designs are absolutely gorgeous. I'm looking at this pattern. Sorry, I was distracted. And I love the way she's doing her border. Like she's writing out Spring Pussy Willows, and she's got the size. And then look at the way she's signed it, like original designs by Patricia Bach, Cedarburg, Wisconsin. And then look at the flourish, right? Like how cool is that? And I've seen that on her other designs too. It's so Art Deco. Like her pattern looks so Art Deco. It's so cool. I absolutely love it. She also zigzags her patterns. I zigzag my patterns too. I know a lot of people serge them, and I know that's considered super professional, and it is. It's great. But so is, for me, a zigzag. I like to use my sewing machine rather than a serger. I've used sergers way too much in my life, and I feel done with sergers. I'm done with threading sergers. I do a zigzag too, and I really like it. I've never had any of my stuff come undone with a zigzag. It's perfect. And like we said earlier, also tape works, right? Tape works great. Can your drawn work remove warping? Okay. Rita says, "Oh, little bunny face, foo foo." He is a cute little bunny face. And Diane says, "Can you draw work remove warping, wefting from denim panel area, then hook directly into the denim when you've loosened the weave?" Okay, I know what you mean. Okay, so that's a good idea. You could try that. So the question is, have you ever seen drawn work? First of all, like this is really big in like the Netherlands and Belgium, where this was a form of needlework that girls would do. Like they would be taught this at school. You section off a section of a woven piece of material, whether it's linen or whatever. you section it off, doing like a very tight stitch, like a buttonhole stitch around it, so that no matter what you do next in terms of cutting into it or weakening the integrity of it, it's still not going to unravel because you've shored up a border around it. You see what I mean? So you need to create a safe perimeter. And then you can do things like drawing and cut work. Cut work is literally cutting pieces out. And if you have good solid stitching, whether it's hand stitch or machine stitch, you can do cut work, and that's its own craft, right? Drawn work is something between cut work and needlework. You are taking away. So you are choosing which threads in which area you want to cut. It's precise, right? You're not doing cut work. You're not cutting the whole section. You're cutting specific threads at intervals, drawing them out so that weave changes, right? It becomes more bare in the places that you have chosen to do this technique. Now, schoolgirls would then go back in, they would do drawn work and cut work and then go back into the section and start almost weaving with thread and replacing colors and doing all kinds of effects by taking away and then adding again. Whoa, it's like lace making, right? Like, whoa. I don't know the answer with denim. I think it would depend on the denim, because you know how so many denims now are stretch. They have an element of stretch. I think if there's any synthetic stretch to the denim, that it's not going to work, right? Because you can't account for the stretch. But if you're doing something with, for example, a Levi's jacket, that's 100% cotton. The old school ones, they don't have any stretch, right? Anything that doesn't have, that's 100% cotton and there's no stretch to it, I think you would have more success doing that. It'd be an interesting thing to try. If you drew out threads from denim, of course, like, goes without being said, you could punch into denim, right? You could punch with a traditional punch or with a mini punch into denim, and you wouldn't have to draw anything. It would just be ready. I understand what you're saying. You would need to kind of like doctor up the material to even have the chance of hooking into it. You would need less thread. It's not impossible. I think it's going to be a different answer from one denim jacket to the next, just because of the quality of the cotton, the makeup of the material, like what is in it, the thickness of it. Even if it's 100% cotton, it could be a thin summer cotton. You know, I have some really thin denim jackets, and then I have ones that are so thick that I would wear them in the winter. So I think it's going to depend on a lot of things. A lot of the denim jackets are have a rough texture, like, you know, are just rough to the touch. And others, like the men's, like, for example, the trucker jackets that Levi sells, they come in lots of colors. They're still 100% cotton, but they're very smooth. I think it's going to depend on a lot of things, but it's worth trying. Even if you try and succeed, I would still be so careful about saying to people, it could work. It really, it might be a like perfect storm of jean jackets thing to get the right jean jacket, to be able to remove some threads and to try hooking through it. Even with threads removed, we're so used to our backing material having some give. We always say, put it on your frame and make it as tight as a drum. It's never actually as tight as a drum, is it? There's always some give while you're working. Denim doesn't have a lot of give, and I think it becomes a question of like, that if anybody has ever played that game with your kids or your grandkids, there's a Yeti in my spaghetti, right? You put all of these, what look like pickup sticks, spaghetti, over a bowl, and the Yeti's sitting on top of all of these sticks that are almost like in a million different directions. It's a mess. They're all balanced on top of this soup bowl, and the Yeti's sitting on top, and you keep pulling the sticks out, and if the Yeti falls through the gap in the spaghetti, crazy, right? You lose, right? You lose. But it's the same kind of thing. I think there's going to be a very fine line between pulling out enough spaghetti to be able to hook through that denim, versus, and then going, oh, did I do that? When you do one more and you go, that was the bad one. But then again, it might work great, right? I think you're probably way more inclined to do this better than I could do it. So if you do it, let me know, because I'm so curious to know how that goes, how that'll go. 100% cotton twill. How much do you like to fight when you hook. Yeah, that's the other angle. I don't like to hook when it's tenuous, right? When I'm hooking into something, like when I have hooked into wool, straight into like wool, I don't like it. I do it, but I don't like it because my brain keeps saying, if you change your mind about this loop, it's going to leave a hole and there's no coming back from the hole. You can make other holes around it and try to hide it, but it's not forgiving because there's no stretch, right? The wool has no stretch, so it's not forgiving. If I make too many holes in order to hide it, I might end up not quite hiding it and making let's say I make 2 holes on the side of it to try to hide the hole I made. I might end up with one really big hole, right? So I'm always conscious of that when I'm hooking into something that might play me. It makes me very nervous, and I shy away from it. But it's a very good academic question, and it would be a great exercise. It would be a great experiment. Um, I think I think I've seen people do mini punch right into the denim. Absolutely, people do that all the time. I think you could do regular punch right in, right? You could do a regular punch. It's going to be the same thing as hooking or punching into wool. If you have an Oxford punch, even if it's one of the fines, like we saw Kaz using at the beginning of the episode, even if it's one of the fine ones and not one of the regular ones, you start punching holes into denim, and those holes are there to stay. Our love is here to stay, right? They are not going away. So it's something to think about if you take Oxford style punch to a jean jacket. Mini punch, on the other hand, is going to go right through no problem, and you'll have lots of choices. So that's why we see people doing so much with mini punch into jean jackets. It's very common to see. That's the reason why, right? And then a lot of people like to put interfacing behind, or just to make sure the loops don't come out, right? That's something you might want to think about. I can't comment on that because I haven't done mini punch into a jean jacket, but it might be something to consider depending on how high your loops are. If your loops are very low, I would consider it. A lot of people just make patches out of mini punch and then applique them, right? Which brings us full circle back to the question of, if you're making a backet, do you want it to function as a patch? Like, do you want it to be an applique? Or do you want to cut the piece out and have it actually, in terms of integrity, be a pattern piece in the garment, one with the garment? It's a question you need to ask yourself with these kinds of projects, because it doesn't matter what you decide, but I think it is important to decide, right? Yeah, I like a good fight. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that's going to end up. All right, I think it's going to end up just fine. I have no fears because I know that you are really good and really creative. You make things work. So Susan sent me this great email. This was a really fun piece that she sent. She said, I just sent images. Oh, I just sent images of a cat done by Marianne Lincoln in 1999. Now I know some of you. Rita, did you know Marianne Lincoln? Deanna said, share things that have been gifted to you, and this was a gift. Marianne was a rug hooker from the 80s, 90s, who was a regular contributor to many publications, and was well known for her dyeing of wool. Right? She wrote a book about dyeing. Right? She wrote one of the pamphlets. She wrote a full size book, didn't she? She wrote a full size book. She wrote a book. Was it for Rug Hooking Magazine that she wrote it? Now it's like forever out of print. Um, And Susan says, I was friends with her daughter. That's how I knew her. So she sent me this beautiful email with this article about Marianne. If you want to read this article, you can stop on this page later and just pause, and you can probably read it from here. You know what? Let me make it a little bit bigger. And I don't know what this is from. I'm guessing it's Rug Hooking Magazine, spring 1991. Let me make it a little bit bigger in case you come back to it after the show and want to read it. It'll be as big as it can be. Rita says, yes, I love her book. Rita, was it a Rug Hooking Magazine book? This is the rug that Susan's talking about, of the cat that Marianne did. Absolutely precious. And what a precious gift, right? Because this is a big name in rug hooking, right? This is like one of the legacy rug hookers. Absolutely beautiful piece. So simple, so charming. And even, Susan, there you are. Even the back of it is really precious. I mean, look at this tag. I'm so glad that the tag is still on it. Susan, I'm so glad you left the tag on it. It's so cute. English country cat. How cute is that? What a great piece, and what a great gift. You know, when rug hookers give each other gifts, we never throw them out, do we? No matter what, we never throw them out. And that brings me to I have one to go back to, but I want to come to this piece by Diane Quinn. I saw this on Facebook, right? And I know we're running late, so I have one more, I think, after this. But I saw this on Facebook, and along that same conversation as gifts, I thought to myself when I saw this is by Diane Quinn, and she said, wait a minute. She said, hang on. Simply a table wreath for winter. And I thought when I saw it, wow, you know what? I said this earlier in the episode. I want to make more gifts for people, right? And Suzanne's piece from Marianne reminded me of that just now. Kaz's piece, right, for the dog's chiropractor, and this piece by Diane Quinn, table wreath for winter. Like, imagine what a perfect gift. This is just a small little rug, right? This wouldn't be a big deal to make for a friend, and you could get from like Home Goods like a little votive jar like this with a candle in it. I mean, talk about like, who wouldn't want this? This is just such an amazing gift. I love it. I just think it's so smart. And yeah, it's got me thinking about gifts. So really, really fun. Yeah, I absolutely, let me show one more time. Oh, wait a minute. I want to come back to that. Not right here. Absolutely adorable. Marianne Lincoln. So Susan, thanks for sending that, and thanks for bringing that name up. So that is a good name to research, and that's a good name to just say out loud, right? Michelle sent a beautiful piece. Michelle Holler, she says, hi there. Here's a little something for gallery night. And she said, well, first of all, stay safe out there. She says, hello all. Hopefully we are warm and cozy with our stitching and a nice warm cuppa. I was into making dolls, quilts, and cross stitch. I stitched this cross stitch for our daughter when she was 8 years old. At that time we homeschooled, and I kept 2 other children, and we would often host fancy tea parties for her friends with little cucumber sandwiches and everything. As of late, I've been pretending it's 2003 and spending a bit more time remembering how much I enjoyed cross stitch and getting in a wee bit more tiny stitches. And I feel so happy in doing so. And she spelled so in capital letters like S-E-W. Get it? Get it? She made an upside down laughing face. I wish I knew who designed this, but alas, it was a long time ago. It was a long time before I kept up with any information. But it might have been Elijah Junction Magazine. Oh, I've never even heard of that. You know, I love looking at cross-stitch designs too, because you know what? They're no different than what we do. They're just line drawings, right? The information is given in little squares, but they're just drawings or patterns that you fill in. Cross stitchers fill them in with little square stitches. We fill them in with a little loop, and otherwise they're no different. So beautiful, Michelle. You know, I feel that. That is, I think, a post Christmas or holiday winter feeling when you start thinking about the old times and when the kids were younger and all of that stuff. And yeah, it's stuff that gets right into your heart, doesn't it? Yeah. I've been having a lot of those moments too. You know, I have a bunch more pieces that I put into the show for tonight because I always put in extra pieces. But we're over, and I think I'll stop there so I have content for Monday. We can look at some cool pieces that I found to add to the show tonight. We can look at those pieces together on Monday because nothing is happening you know, Monday we should be snowed in, right? It should be snowing on Monday. So, assuming I have power on Monday, I'll be here for the Monday show at 11 Eastern Standard Time, and that'll be a lot of fun because I have some beautiful things to show. It'd be fun to get back together and do that. But in the meantime, remember that tomorrow Kirsten is holding the hook-in from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and she will post that pop-up hook-in, right, to hook together. She'll post that tomorrow in our Facebook group, which is Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club. And if you are not on Facebook and you want the info, I would say first reach out to Kirsten, right? Because she's there. And if you can't find Kirsten, reach out to me, and I will put Kirsten in touch with you so she sends you the login information. In the meantime, It's going to be a bad storm. So make good decisions, right? Make sure, don't do a Deanna David and charge your phone overnight the night before the storm only to find out that the charger is plugged into your phone, but the phone charger is not plugged in. Don't do one of those the night before. Make sure you're all set with, Sorry, I still have to say it. Make sure you're all set with your food, that you have firewood, right? That if you have a toilet thing, that you've got extra water, right? If you're going to run out of well water, something like that. Make sure you've got all your ducks in a row, right? Don't be cavalier about storms that they're calling historic storms, right? Particularly if you're in a part of the country that's not used to getting this kind of weather. It's scary. And in places like New England, we're used to it. Like people will start driving around with their plows during the storm, right? They'll be clearing the road during the storm. But in places where you're not used to this and there's not a big budget for it in the town, you have to be that much more thoughtful and cautious. It sucks to have to be cautious and to think forward, particularly on the weekend when you should be wild and free. But you kind of have to this time. So I hope that I will see you on Friday, and I hope that it goes a lot easier than it seems and sounds like it's going to go. I bet it will, knocking on wood. And work on your projects. Let me know if you're interested in hooking a piece for the Spill in the Tea book. I've got a few pieces that are among my favorite pieces, but people will take things according to style or something that they can relate to easier. I've got some of my favorite pieces that have not been taken yet. So please let me know. Patreon has picked, thank you, Patreon. Patreon has picked the pieces that they're going to do. So all the Patreon supporters have chosen pieces and they have found their permanent person. And I still have some of my favorite pieces I really want in the book that have not been taken to hook. And what it entails is just a commitment to be able to hook it by, for example, by the end of May. So you're welcome to email me at ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. Say, can I see some of those pieces? Or Facebook me if we're friends on Facebook. You want to Facebook me at Deanna David. Don't Facebook me at Ribbon Candy Hooking because I never look to check that one. But always on Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club. Be safe. Don't drive, right? Don't make crazy decisions like that. Stay safe, everybody. That's right. Get your projects ready. So if the worst happens and you're out of power for a little while, you can sit in the window and do your work and be calm, right? Be calm. Try to use it to calm yourself down and not get too upset. Ta-ta. It was a great night, everybody. You all sent in some beautiful work. And Rita says Marianne's dye book was put out by Rug Hooking Magazine. Thank you. I thought so. It was a beautiful full-size book. I do have it, but I also know it's very hard to find. Be safe, don't drive. Hoping everyone stays warm and keeps electricity. Absolutely. Stay safe over the weekend. Wonderful show. Excited to do my piece. Oh, I'm excited too. I'm going to get that out to you. I'll get that out tomorrow. All right. I will see you on Monday, everybody, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time,